Welcome to the Attack Action Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Marie Antoinette, and I'm going to London.
I'm your host, Colin Honigman. I'm not going to London, but I have some tips for those going.
Oi, governor. I will be watching remotely from California.
I like how you went from definitely UK to definitely Australian to then definitely Texan.
Piper, no.
Piper, no. I'm watching that after this as soon as we're done. I'm going to go put in my hour and a half into the finale.
Hey, bruv, and I'm Zayne, and I'll be attending Pro Tour London.
Let's go.
I'm dying. Okay, and then to make it fair, I'll pretend I'm American. Yeah, I'm American. I like baseball. I eat hot dogs. Yeah, America. My daughter was taken, and I have skills. Baseball. Okay, there we go.
There's some Keanu in that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's definitely some Keanu in there.
He's definitely at all times faking an American accent. Anyway, here we are. We've done it. We've found Zayne. He was hitchhiking down I-5, and we picked him up and put him back on the podcast. So he's back. Zayne, what have you been doing since you've been gone from our podcast?
Oh, so many things. Trying to find out why they printed Arachne slipped through the cracks, mainly, and discovering where the heck that's supposed to be happening. But yeah, things have been busy preparing for London. Work is crazy as usual. I'm actually switching roles, which has been kind of in the works for like many months. So I'm changing teams and getting promoted as I move over. Finally, it's like kind of long overdue. So that's exciting, but it's taken a lot of time to like interview for the role, make sure it lines up with everything. And so, yeah, there's a lot of personal stuff been going on, but I have officially packed for London-ish, my clothes at least. Cards still need to get settled, and I'm flying out in less than 24 hours. So,
Which skateboard are you bringing?
The left one or the right one?
The skinnier one.
Nice.
Nice.
No, I will be packing my stuff to the limits and then hoping I can send some cards home with friends because I'm going to be traveling for 2 weeks after, and I don't want to lug around,
Ooh, so I guess you won't be here for the next podcast.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and write that down now.
Yeah, probably not. But, maybe we could work out a time. I can do it in Scotland.
Ooh, that would be fun.
That would be cool.
You could be reporting live from Stonehenge or something.
Yeah, Stonehenge.
It's in the area.
How are you all? I missed you last week or 2 weeks ago.
Collectively, I think we're really great.
Wow.
But that's like an average, so I don't know, maybe.
Is that the mean or the median? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Who's to say, really? We haven't done the white paper research on that. I'll start. I'm doing fine. What have I been doing? Work stuff, trying to hire people for work stuff. I don't have teaching jobs at my work, so
Great.
Come on, dude.
I can see if maybe, I don't know. Do you want to be a producer? They seem to hire lots of producers. So
I would love to remotely produce whatever work is being done.
We'll just link up with my coworker who lives by you, and you can learn all the ins and outs. What else? We've been working on the house stuff. Been doing some kitchen reorganization. I got these cool pull-out drawers for my cupboards because they were too deep to see things in them, and now I pull it out and I see what's in there. It's very, very handy. I made lasagna last week. I don't know. Shit's dope.
Nice.
So domestic. I love it.
I mean, about the house, I might as well do the rest of the stuff.
That's true. You're priced in.
My retirement is now tanked thanks to recent economic decisions. So this is all I got. I got to just hang on to this place with dear life. Like, how you doing?
Currently, I'm doing my teacher modules to try and become a teacher, and it's like, hey, here's an interview from 1996. The computer lab has Macs that are the neon ones. You remember those? And I was like, you guys have no idea. I'm not even in a classroom, obviously, but I'm like, oh, thank God I'm getting all this up-to-date information from before cell phones existed. Like, I'm sure this will be relevant to all my stuff. And I think there's a learning curve / maybe if I want to be a film teacher, maybe it's going to be more of like you need to teach them practical stuff. But if the entertainment industry is blowing up, then it's like, okay, what's that going to do for them? But the stuff that they keep showing me as examples is like shop class, where it's like, what kind of shop class procedures would make sense for your classroom too? And I'm like, none. Like there's not a car to work on. There's not. Make sure you turn in all the keys to all the cars before you go. They all need to be in this area. And I think there's been a secret language of teachers that has been around for at least 50 years. Because like I will say something to Del Taco or my mom, and it'll like, what do they call it? Like splinter effect or whatever, or like I'll say one thing of, oh, they need something to do when the bell goes off, and they'll be like, oh, do now bell ringer or whatever. And it's just like, oh, how does my mom know that? How does Del Taco know that? And it's like, have they taught everyone in the last 40 years the same 47 things? And it's like, oh, probably. So I'm halfway through that. I am wondering if I'm putting in too much effort, but then there'll be like, what did you learn whenever you shadowed a class? I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like who's setting that up? Like there was no instruction of like, here's what you need to do. So I don't know if I'm going to try and turn this in and they're going to be like, who'd you shadow with? I'm like, what? I know. Like there's just no, it doesn't feel like there's anybody who's going to be like walking me through this process. So I'm just going to turn in all this and hope for the best.
Nice. Good luck.
I'm sure the Department of Education is very robust and will review your application.
Okay, Zayne.
It's California State, maybe. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've heard teaching is perfect to get into right now.
Yeah, every industry is perfect to get into, especially being a rich billionaire. That's like the best moment, So that's what I'm working on. It's just becoming a fascist and a rich guy.
We should just like find oil somewhere. That'd be tight. Like,
yeah.
You think there's oil on my property? I can just like start digging.
Start drilling, bro.
Or we just start grifting on our podcast.
Or like some silicone, you just like a rich deposit of silicone just in the backyard. Mine that.
Dude, should we start a meme coin?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's doing it. Let's make a bunch of money, then apologize for it later.
And then it's fine. We get to keep the money, right?
Yeah,
I think
just move
so.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Or
That sounds
somebody
awesome.
Disappears you. I don't know how it works. Something like that. Taylor?
Oh.
How are you?
I'm great, dude. I'm so excited for this vacation. And it'll be like, as we talked briefly on the last pod, I have a lot of things going on in my life that are very heavy. And I will get to hopefully not throw up on the plane as I travel to London, and then not have to worry about any of that shit because I'll be in a fucking other country. And I just can't wait to, all I have to worry about is like playing a game and hanging out with people I know, or seeing people like, oh my God, you're here. Cool. Great to see you. blah, 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 and then afterwards exploring the city of London. So I'm just really pumped for this vacation, and very much like Zayne, I leave Tuesday. I'm going to stay with a friend of the show, Yeechin. Thanks, Yeechin. Shout out to Yeechin. And then flying out Wednesday afternoon. So I kind of only have tomorrow to like clean the house and pack up my shit and be ready to go after work. So which is fine. We're gonna be fine.
It'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
It's London. They got stuff. If you forget something, they got stuff there. So
totally. I realized at the second place I'm staying, my checkout was scheduled for a day earlier than I flew out, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" So I messaged the guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no problem." I was like, "Whew, thank God." I mean, not like I couldn't find a place, but then I just didn't want to have to logistically go through that again. So thankfully figured that out. Anyway, I'm psyched. So the real question is here to everybody. Zayne's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Friend of the show, Levi's going to be there. And I've proposed that we get the same friendship tattoo, all three of us, and we need ideas.
should be on the neck or the face.
Wait, I can pick something that'll be on Zayne's body forever?
Yeah.
right.
Zayne,
It's a
do you
picture-
have
it's a
any
picture of
tattoos?
Blake and me on your guys' body.
Fallen
I do-
soldiers.
I do not at the moment, but it's been like a thing I've wanted to do, and the cost has been the holding the factor holding me back. But
You just got a promotion.
yeah, true.
So get a hunter's clave on your foot.
We should get the sink below teacup with the dip.
Dude,
altar symbol.
I'm so into a teacup idea since that promo has popped out. Levi is less into it. He is also a man with 0 tattoos. And I'm like, look, I told him today, I was like, look, I will fucking get whatever because I have a lot of tattoos. And so whatever you can decide on, let's just like go get it. Let's just go do it, So
Clave would be cool.
it's
Got
good.
like a tiger that says flesh and blood underneath it or something. That makes no sense.
I would do that. That would be sick.
Where are you
Just
picturing it at the moment?
Spell out gravy bones when you guys put your arms together.
Yeah, on your
Gravy bones is perfect for the knuckles.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. What would be cool is if it was. It's too bad Gravy Bones now doesn't have 3 words to it because one of us could get a gravy boat with gravy sloshing in it. Another person could get a pile of bones, and somebody else could get something else, and then we could just
get a pirate tattoo, and then you're like Gravy Bones the pirate.
there you go.
And if you find a
his-
fourth guy is a bone person, and then it's Gravy Bones the pirate.
Wait,
bone
he
person.
has Gravy Bones is not it's like Gravy Bones sunken treasure hunter or some shit. So we
No,
can get
Marlin's the treasure hunter.
Marlin's a treasure hunter. He
that
The
sunken ship plunderer.
looter, yeah.
Yeah, looter. So there you go. We'll get a sunken ship. We'll get a gravy boat with gravy sloshing and bones.
Or the 21 Savage, the knife on his forehead. Just get the clave right there.
Dude.
I'm trying to get a job, so I will wait.
We'll just get one before you go, and then
Get the job. Yeah. Okay, no problem.
you got it. Okay.
Yeah, Colin's about to hire me, so
Yeah, exactly. Just answer all of these questions correctly.
where I would get the tattoo, I'm not sure. I have one arm that's blank, but I'm saving it because that's prime real estate. I have some space in this region that I thought would be kind of cute. My legs are blank, so I do have some space on this other arm where I have a bunch of tattoos. So depending on.
It's like a nice inner thigh tattoo of a gravy boat and a skeleton.
Mashed potato
That'd be cool.
skulls.
Yeah. I would do this. I'm not fucking around. I would get the gravy boat dripping in gravy. I would get that tattooed on me.
We go from just lambasting the name to tattooing it on all of our bodies. It's been a crazy week, man. Gravy Bones is here. We love it.
Dude, I think it's the funniest thing to then do that. I think that's so funny.
I support you guys in all your decisions.
Thank you. So if you have any, we probably won't get tattooed till after the Pro Tour. So if you have thoughts or opinions about it, leave in the comments below or BlueSky DM me or whatever. I'll see it by the time this comes out, and then we'll have time to get tattooed. Also, Zayne, if your wife wants to get tattooed with us too, I'm cool with that. You know? Yeah. She seems
she wants
great.
a clave too.
That's the thing. I don't know how much they're like, how much time you have or how much time the artists have. So it also might just be like pick and flash off the wall, So
Sure.
And that's a little cheaper. So anyway, it'll be small. We've got to do 3 tattoos right in a row. So
yeah, just 16 pirates all standing around a treasure chest that's got arcane runes on it that say Gravy Bones is the goat and we love Jimmy Blanco, but in the rune language.
One of each Dromite Dragon, and then one of each Herald or Angel from Prism.
Yeah,
that
and
would
then
be
just a list of herald names down your chest. Judgment.
Ravages.
Ravages. Just that part of it.
Would be so upsetting to me, Zayne, if you did that.
And then my back is just a spectral shield.
This is good. A big spectral shield? That's
a Prism spectral shield on the back and an Enigma one on the front.
Dang.
What are you going to do if there's a third type of spectral shield?
Face.
Get a fourth side,
Get 4D, bro, instead of being 3D. All right. Well, this has been the Tattoo Action Podcast. Thanks for listening. Anything else? Anybody got any shout outs, or should we just start talking more about London? Great. Let's talk more about London. Where should we start, everybody?
London is a hero. No.
I mean, the whole thing that I think was kind of annoying and now it's resolved is the whole, I don't really want to practice 2 decks. I don't know if Zin's going to LL or not. He's 989. And then it's like,
91.
Okay, don't have to worry about it. Zin will be there. What's going through your head whenever you know that? Are you like, thank God I get to play against Zin at the Pro Tour again? Or are you, hey, I'm glad there's another tier 4 tournament that's going to be ruined because somebody's going to high roll the shit out of me in the first round whenever they get a chi every single turn.
This sounds like a loaded question.
Oh, no, it's not leading at all, actually. There's a right answer, though.
I am happy that we know now, as of Monday or Sunday night. I am not pleased with the result. I wish Zen would have been gone. Just for freshness, and like I think people are kind of done with Zen. I don't know. I know there's some people that like Zen, I guess, but I think I would rather have moved on. But it's a real deck. It's going to do well. I would not be surprised to see one top 8 or win. I hope not. But yeah, I'm glad that we know now. I wish we knew, a little sooner than a week, but we'll take it.
Yeah. I had such limited time testing and still do. And I was just like, all right, the cards are going to fall how they're going to fall. And I will put 0 effort into trying to figure out what my game plan is into that. So if you're playing Zen and we match up, could be a free win. You're welcome. So I'm just doing that for the greater community, in terms of like, look, I'm like not a pro here player. I'm a rookie. This is gonna be my first time at the big dance.
You are now, though. You're going to the Pro Tour.
Yeah, totally.
You're on
the
the
pro
tour.
now.
I'm on the Pro Tour. I'm doing it. Our podcast is legit.
Half of us,
That's
pretty good. 3/4 of us, also pretty good.
1/4 though.
I like to play.
Unacceptable. So I forget what the fuck I was going to say. So I'm just going, and like I said on last podcast, life has been a lot lately, and I did plan to be much more prepared than I am, but I'm not. And just
that's every PT. Like that is just literally how it is. Like, unless you're like literally unemployed going into it, you're just going to be like underprepared. And it's good to know that 90% of the people in the room feel similarly.
That's great. I love to know that because I don't know, never done one of these before. And so that kind of leads me to my first question for you here, Zayne. You've played in callings, you've played in Pro Tours. How similar or dissimilar are those experiences? Like, I understand we're going to play CC 4 rounds and then do a draft, but in terms of like the quality of opponent, the pressure, the whatever,
The funniest thing is that it's so not that different than anything else. Like, it's invite only like to make it prestigious, and it's hard to qualify, and that's cool. But by the time you're there, it's just another person sitting there. Like, they're not much, in a calling, you might get an easy win somewhere because somebody doesn't know the matchup, doesn't know how assassin works or whatever. That won't happen at PT. But in general, the like level of competition is like not that different. Like even at the like high tables of a PT, like, the players will be very clean and there won't be mistakes and stuff, or there shouldn't be many. But ultimately, it's like really not that different than a calling or, an AGE or something. It's like kind of the same level of competition. It's just a little bit more like formal, I guess is the word, like a little more proper. You have to be careful with how you speak a little bit, but it's really not as different as you might like think it is.
Tight.
I don't know about that. I know you have more whatchamacallit, but like
Experience.
you have the most killers in the room. Like at AGE, God bless them, but there's not top 50 players there. Like, there's maybe 2 killers, but every single person you see at a Pro Tour is a killer because they're one of the 400 best people in the world, right?
Hey, so thanks, Blake.
Here's what I'll say.
Or they got in on a technicality. I don't know.
So like, here's what I'll say. There's people like in Southern California that have never won a ProQuest that are better players than some people in other regions that have won ProQuests, right?
Like Blake, maybe.
Or like people buy PTIs. Like, I don't know. No, like it's true. Like, I don't know. Half the time I go to a PQ in SoCal, like my round 1 or 2 will be Chris Ayali. And it's like, so maybe it's just like in the area that I'm in, like that's what I'm used to. But, when I play some of the best players in my region, I feel like they're as hard as anyone I'll ever see at PT.
Tight. Well, that's really reassuring because I was like a little nervous, feeling underprepared and being like, well, I feel like I've been to enough callings or battle hardens now, and those, I understand how those go and that sort of thing. So just wondering, how much more intense it's going to be or whatever. But if it's just going to be the same, like, okay, good. That's like very relaxing to hear that.
The one difference is the drafting portion is stressful and everyone is uncomfortable and stressed and like they're pretty strict about like don't talk and they're going to call it, and like that part can feel a little bit like tense and it's very high stakes, in those moments, because the difference between a 1-2 deck and a 3-0 deck is like not that big. And making the right calls in the exact amount of time they give you and like trying to gather as much information as you can and remember your ratios and what you're trying to do. It can be a lot. But the CC rounds are, no big deal.
And then what do you need? What's your record you need to day 2? 4-3?
Isn't it an extra round or is it 7? I'm forgetting.
I thought it was 7. 4 and
Maybe
3.
it's 7. Maybe it's US Nats that I'm mixing up. But then, yeah, you might have to be X2 to day 2. I'd just, again, don't think about it as much as possible. You just play each game as its own
I'm
individual
not.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Answer.
Blake, what are the 3 things you should say to your first round opponent to totally freak them out?
Hey, this is my first time playing. How's it going?
At the Pro Tour.
You say
No,
that, but like literally people like showed up to the first Worlds and were like, I bought a PTI. I've never drafted out Uprising. Like that didn't happen to me, but like that happened to someone I know. They were like, I don't know how to play Dromai. This is my first time playing Dromai. And they volunteered that information ahead of round 1.
I mean,
That's
you
so
say that to mess with people or whatever. You go,
Sure.
hey, can I borrow your dice? I forgot mine.
Bro, people do that. Oh my gosh. People actually do that. And like,
These are gold. Blake, one more.
Oh, hope you don't run pummels in your deck because I'm certainly not going to take those triggers.
who would do that? No, there is 5 rounds of CC. I wasn't sure if that was it's 4 the second day, but 5 the first day.
We have 8 rounds day 1.
Yeah, and so
Go
5 and
fuck yourself.
5 and 3 goes to day 2.
You could also try saying that, but the judges might get mad.
No lunch break? God, dude, this game, card games are fucking brutal.
So there's no lunch break, but they take forever to set up the draft.
Have you ever had a lunch break at a basketball game, Taylor?
Yeah, but there's a 1 hour.
Not with all the commercials.
Not 9 or 12 because there's draft, you know? I was trying to explain because somebody was asking me like, I'm going to London to do this thing. And they're like, oh, cool. You know? And I was like, yeah, it's intense. And they're like, really? I was like, oh yeah. You play like for 9 hours straight with no lunch break. There's like no break. And they're like, what? They couldn't wrap their brain around this. Like, how is anybody supposed to do anything for so long with no real like scheduled halftime or break between quarters or whatever? You know, I was just like, yeah, it's a whole part of this sport is like being able to manage yourself for a 10-hour day, you know?
I was going to say, that just sounds like a work day. I got
Damn.
9 hours and sometimes I don't get lunch.
Yeah. That sounds like a day of unemployment for me. Sometimes I don't even move.
Snacks over there.
10 hours.
He's unemployed. He can't afford snacks.
Bro.
Go ahead, Colin.
Serious question. Just because I don't think we said it on the podcast yet, but what are you guys bringing to Pro Tour London?
Well, if you're not watching the podcast, my nameplate says Taylor Marie Antoinette, so I'm playing Arachne Marionette, which I'm just locked in. I'm priced into that. I got the Arachne tattoo. We got the Clave spoiler.
You like that one better than Huntsman?
That's also a great question. I feel like that it's too early still, but I am so surprised how fun Marionette is. It's like so fun, and part of it is the chaos part. You know, is like, okay, I've transformed, and it's like, okay, sick, I'm Tarantula, and then you're like, I know what cards I would like to draw, and then you don't draw those, and you're like, okay, how do I make this work now? All of a sudden, literally never been in this scenario where I have like a yellow, a Black Widow, a CNC, and then like a blue Reapers, you know, and I'm Tarantula. How do I make this hand work based on also what my opponent is doing, you know? And so like those moments come up, which are really fun, but also just like a little frustrating too, because you're like, great, I wish this sometimes I yearn for the days of Huntsman where you're just like autopilot, bing, bang, bomb. I like know the efficientness of this hand and how this is going to affect like the next couple of turns, etc. And I'm trying to figure out whether or not Marionette is going to have that type of feel eventually, or if that's the difference in the heroes, right? Like if I've played one so much versus the other one, etc. But it's so fun. So still Huntsman, but Marionette is so fun. It's so fun.
Yeah, Huntsman is very stable. You know what you're getting, and then Marionette's a little wild.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like the other day in testing, I had a resource card and then 3 dagger pumps, and I was like, I'm Azalea.
It's sick. I love that. Dagger for 13.
Yeah, dagger for 13. No other disruption, but just 13 damage. You're like, I guess this is good. You're now marked.
I mean, you don't often convert your hand for 13 damage in Assassin, so.
And that's what I tell myself. Like today, I was like, oh, okay, well, that was kind of above rate. I guess that's good, even though I pitched a whole card for a weapon to do 1 damage, but it was like pumped up. It's heck of hella pumped. I came in for 9. I guess that's good.
I love pumping dagger.
I love pumping my dagger now too, Zane.
Good. I don't know what I'm playing. I wish I was just hiding what I'm actually playing, and I knew deep down, but I don't. I am bringing.
What are
like
your
4
choices?
Realistically, it's probably between Azalea, Aurora, and Slippy. But we'll see.
Zane's going to play Azalea. I'm calling it right now.
In there.
Yeah.
You know what? This time,
It is interesting though, because you're new on our banner that we made. So new got pushed out. I heard. How did that happen?
I mean, I think New's still strong. I just think you have to play it a certain way, and it's not the way that I particularly want. Like I liked to play New very proactively, like fairly aggressively. Like, you know, I'd play 6 D-Reacts or whatever, but I still wanted to be like proactively like shoving what I'm doing like onto you. And now it's like they're playing 12 D-Reacts and they're playing, you know, Sigil of Solace, and like, you know, we're finally off CYB, thankfully. I mean, some people might bring it, who knows, but a lot of people are off CYB finally. But still, just like the 12 D-React, it just gives your opponent so much agency that I don't like to give. Like I like to be a little bit more on the front foot. Maybe that's the Ranger player in me trying to make New just Lexi-ish, because she could kind of give me some of the Lexi vibes, and she still does, but I think you have to play her more defensively right now, and that's just not what I want to do.
Fair.
nice.
And you just get stomped by Enigma that way.
I was curious, Zane, since you are a member of the illustrious Stroopwafel team, what your training has been like. Kind of, you don't have to give us any like insider information, but just kind of like, how do you guys all approach that? 'Cause I know you're a pretty big team, right? So I'm just curious like how that plays out and like what your kind of regimen's been like.
Yeah, what's the website and password login?
Yeah, I mean, in reality, how it happens is we meet once a week, and then we also have a like team armory, basically, which is just what it sounds like. We just pretend like it's an armory and jam whatever we want into each other. So in the meeting, we'll talk about what we've seen, what we're interested in, if we feel better or worse about anything than we did last week, and then we'll split off and either draft or play 4 games and then write it up. And then people are in the, you know, different times of the day. People are playing games throughout. Like, hey, I have 2 hours. Can people play 2 games? I've played very few, maybe like as little as almost anyone else in there. But you know, sometimes you get to just like tune in, backseat somebody, give some thoughts on lines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it means both, it's no different than just like chatting with your friends after an event. It's just a very specific group of people that I'm glad to be included with.
But all the opinions are way better and backed with real data and experience.
Yeah, they're not focused on Fang as a deck still.
Bro,
Hey,
Fang is real deck though, isn't it?
I mean, it's strong. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll top 8 for sure.
Somebody won a thing. I saw that. I was excited.
It's the Kasai thing, right? Like it's similar to Kasai where it's like it's powerful enough to win. Is it always well positioned? Like maybe not, but like what you're doing is inherently powerful. It's fairly linear, but like just because it's linear doesn't mean your opponent can stop you.
Yeah. I guess a question I have for everybody, just speaking of Fang in that way, like, are we going to have a Shoma Azuri situation where there's like this deck nobody really thought of that then all of a sudden does really well,
Yeah, Brody's going to bring gravy bones and they're going to allow it. So everyone's just going to be like, I didn't even know what he could do. It's crazy.
Sick.
I mean,
that's my bet. I got $5 on that in Vegas.
Blake, what do you think? I have thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts.
I would say there's going to be the same type. I'm expecting the same top 8 that we've seen. The meta did not change, so I'm assuming there will be one Aurora. I bet there will be one crazy deck, and then like Misfail will be there, and like I haven't seen Slippy or Marionette make top 8 really consistently at all recently. So that's something where I'm like, have people been saving that for this bigger thing? Is that an idea, or people want to win tournaments all the time? And I think Misfell will have like, who's the best Enigma player in the world? You don't want to see them at Pro Tour. Like you could be teched as much as you want, and you're playing the best 2 Enigmas. Like they're gonna beat you. Like I'm sure one of those Enigmas will be 5-0 after the first 5 rounds. And those Enigma players are going to be extremely smart and good at draft. So, like, I'm assuming either Michael Fang or the guy, I don't know if Gregor's coming back and ready to go, but, like, I think that's his name, the guy who just won it all last time. Yeah. I think those people will be not the people to beat, but, like, they did it all last time. Why would Enigma be worse off than she is the last time we had the Pro Tour / Worlds? And she's still the person to beat right now, in my opinion. Because the people that beat Enigma consistently lose to the fields. And that's just been true for every illusionist that's super strong. And like we do have our outliers of like, oh my gosh, Prism won this thing, and like, oh, Fang won this thing. But I don't think they're gonna be lasting through 10 rounds of the best CC players in the world.
And that always happens. Every meta, like something wins and people are like, is that real? Is it real? Is it real? Is it real?
Yeah. I think there's a chance we see something weird, but I do, like you're saying, I expect it to be a Mistveil and Aurora dominated field. Maybe some Florian sneaks in. I think if I had to pick like a dark horse, like someone you really wouldn't expect, it would be Fi. I think Fi is one of those decks that just like, it just puts pressure on you, and it's like if you don't draw good right now, you're gonna lose. Like you're gonna die. Like the Pouncing Lynx is really strong. It's got upgrades in the last set.
And
there's
Flight
more.
Path is fucking sick.
Flight Path is crazy with Emberblade. Like Ignite plus Emberblade plus Flight Path is like very nasty. It's not the hardest deck to play, so you can, you'll have time between rounds. Like there's a chance that someone just like, I'm ripping Fi. I'm just, and like,
which would be sick, right? Like Fi wins Worlds, doesn't do anything, and then wins in London. Like, that would be so cool.
We all think we're smart and like thinking of game plans and cool decks, and then it's like head jab deck wins. Yeah,
yeah, that would be so dope. I think that's the coolest thing.
I think that Emberblade swinging thing, like if you don't have somebody locally doing that to you,
Totally. You're not going to see it
it's
coming.
an unbelievable blowout turn of I'm going to swing my once per turn weapon again, and it's basically free because I don't have to pay for the shoes. My blue pays for this, and it's just like disgusting.
It's crazy.
Like,
and then it's like you're grabbing the car. It's one of those moments where you're like, wait, whoa, what? And then you read it, and then they walk you through it, and then you're like, judge, and they're like, yes, and then you're like, fuck, I just got knowledge gapped so hard.
Yeah, but like he gained 3 blocks with like Oath of Loyalty.
Yeah.
He gained Dragon Power. He gained Ignite. Like he gained a lot, and like Syndra kind of outshone him at the beginning. And I'm not predicting that he's gonna win, but if a deck like came out of nowhere and won, like I wouldn't be shocked if it was Fi.
It's not going to be Dorinthia CYB, right? Is this the time where 2 of them make it to top 8 because it's just I can outlast you in these long ass games after 10 hours? Like I think that's something that I always goes through my head of when you're going to be playing 12-hour days, 2 days in a row. When you're playing a deck that just like fatigues your opponent and puts all the onus on your opponent to beat you, I think that's a good strategy to have. Like,
I mean, it has been since the day
I'm going to play Oldham. Good luck.
Since the day of the game, the first inception of the game. It's just like you got to be better than me figuring out how to block. It's a real skill. At the beginning of the game, I was like, "This is stupid. You're bad." If you're just like blocking only, but then it's just like, actually, this is a real skill, and it is very testing, but it's a tried and true strategy that has won many things, and we've seen it a bunch of times. I feel like this is a meta where that actually could happen, where you're like, I can block, and I got gemmed for my CC rounds, and I did good enough in draft to where now I've top 8'd, and I have kind of a good path here to the finals, so.
You mean the path without any Enigma?
Yeah, exactly.
Enigma does feel super bad, so like
the Fatigue Briar plan, just don't hit Dromai ever when Dromai is the most popular deck.
Yeah, and it happens.
Nice, yeah.
It could happen to anybody. My dark horse is Marionette. That deck could be really hot, and I'm not saying it's going to be me for sure. I mean, it would be nice. It would be great. I would love that money and that fame for all of us. But
I know him,
Bro,
Taylor. Yeah, I know him. It was crazy when he flipped into Trapdoor 7 straight turns in the finals.
And I only had 3 traps.
Borrowing the dice off his opponent.
Yeah. And telling him it's my first time. I mean, it could happen to anybody, okay? Mercy picked up the deck on Thursday and then got, all the way to the finals.
Yeah,
right?
What are you doing practicing before Thursday then? Dude, pick up a new deck from Zayne's bag on Thursday. Taylor wins Pro Tour on Azalea.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Just don't brick off of 3 of a kind, and I'll be fine.
Yeah, 3 of a kind.
Yeah, that's for sure in Azalea. He knows nothing about Azalea. He can't even joke.
Okay, Blake. Well, if you had ever listened to the podcast, you would know
that's what happened to the other Taylor back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Taylor B. Yep. So,
yeah.
Shout out. Cool. Zayne, here's another question for you. How much are we going to hang out, by the way?
I hope a lot. I'm glad that you're saying like after, as also like a lot of people like go early and then like leave Monday.
Yeah.
But you're staying after. That's the way to go.
Totally. Yeah. When are you going? When does your wife fly in? Monday?
She lands Monday morning. Yeah.
Okay. and then you're just like not going to hang out with me or what?
No, then we have 3 more nights in London, so let's go hang out.
Oh, dude, we're getting tattooed for sure now. All right.
Did you not know that? Yeah, three more
No,
nights.
I thought you guys were going just like boom, Scotland right away.
No, we leave on the 17th. So
Sick
That's fine.
Thursday. Oh, dude. All right.
Zayne,
I'm
are you
stoked.
Scottish?
I'm so stoked.
yes.
What are you most excited of going back to the motherland?
So I am really bad at like not doing stuff. Like my wife gives me grief. Or like if I have time, I'll like find a way to make it all. My capitalism brain will like find a way to like, oh, I should learn this hobby or spend time doing this, or like I fill my time like a lot with things that are like economically viable.
Wait, example, please.
Like imposing tariffs on other countries? Is that what you've been up to?
No, like
Give
skills,
fuck,
right?
penguins.
Like I'll like learn how to do like I taught myself how to roast coffee. I like learned how to throw on a ceramic wheel. Like things that are like fun but also like kind of grounded in like, oh, this is something I could make money on if I needed to. Which I don't mean to do. It's just like how
Just
my brain
become an
works.
artisanal ceramicist. Like,
I'm
that's
good at roasting
awesome.
coffee. But anyways, all that to say, I'm very excited to like do a lot of nothing. Like we have 4 nights in like a cabin in the middle of like nowhere. Where like that's the plan is like do nothing. Like, and I'm excited to do nothing.
Nice. Gonna get the knife pumped. Love it.
Oh my god. We are going to go ahead.
No, you go first.
We are going to Isle of Skye, and people say they see the Northern Lights there. So
Oh, cool.
I'm hoping.
Zane, I can relate so much to, I got like 3 hours on Tuesday. Like, what am I going to do? And then all of a sudden I've booked those 3 hours with an activity. Like, that's
Yep.
exactly how I live my life
Yeah.
also. And it exhausts me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse, but
Totally.
it's good to be pulled out of it every so often. And I've made these pro tour trips, very efficient and short when I haven't needed to in the past. Like my Lille trip was like literally comical. It was like I landed the morning of the banquet, like didn't get used to the sleep schedule or time schedule at all, and then I flew out like Monday morning at like 6 a.m. So like I had to like take a 4 o'clock bus on the other side of France. So like, you can do stuff like that and make it work, but like stretching it out if you can is so much like it's good for the brain, the capitalism brain. Turn it off,
I'm psyched. I am going to be sad though. Like, I'm playing on a city league basketball team, and this is in the million years I've been in this league. This is like my favorite team by far. Like, great vibes. It's super easy to play with these guys. And like for example, like I missed a couple of shots the other day and I was kind of like, when that happens, I go like, fuck, I suck. I just yell, which is not healthy. And then my teammate was like, dude, you're going to be fine. Those are great shots. You'll make the next one. And then he passed me the ball. I was wide open, just trusted me, even though I missed the last couple. And I swooshed it. And I like pointed and yelled at him like, thanks for coaching me up. And he was like, I got you. And it was just like a great moment, and so I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss that for like two weeks,
He won't have sink below next time. Keep swinging.
I need that. Okay. Well, also a tangent because of this. We were in another city league game, and I'll make this story short. And
Not long. We're here, bro. Go for it.
oh, okay.
Coach the story up.
I'm like one of the younger guys on my team, but my whole team, including myself, is basically older than everybody in the league. So we were playing against all of these like early 20 somethings, and early 20 somethings in city league basketball are the worst because they're like gonna try too hard and take it too serious. So one guy was doing that, and he was a little feller, and he was really annoying me. And I was like, shut the fuck up. What are you, 12? And he was like, what did you say? I was like, you're too, this is just City League. Like, chill the fuck out. And he was like, do you want to fight? And I was like, yes, fight me. He's like 130 pounds, you know, like 5'5". Like, I would kill him. And as the game goes on, it's
and
like
I did.
and I did, and he died, and that's why I have to go to England. Game was really close leading up to it. I hit a big 3 to tie the game. They missed some free throws, which was hilarious because like
They're free.
and they were clearly nervous. Like they need these free throws to like make it so we don't win. He misses the first one, and I just yelled, "He's never been in this situation before. He's nervous." Misses the next one. So then we manufactured a situation with like 12 seconds to go. I get the ball going to my strong hand, and one of our better shooters is in the corner, so that either the guy helps off from me going to score a layup, or I kick it to one of our best shooters, and we probably win the game. Doesn't help off, so I'm going to the hoop. Their team shifts over to try to block my shot, and so I passed it perfectly to one of our guys who cut to the hoop once his man left him, and he caught it right at the rim, scored, buzzer beater, we win. I'm a local hero at this point. We're shaking hands in the line, etc. And the kid who wanted to fight me, I go to just like high five him, and he just shakes my hand and earnestly says, "I'm sorry, sir." And then walks away. And I died. I couldn't help but audibly laugh as I walked away.
You're about to be the best man at his wedding in 3 years. So
I just see
maybe
him
you
and
guys not know this about me and Chuck here, but this is a situation we are in together.
in 5 years, we'll be at a bar together, and he'll be like, "Dude, I learned so much from you from that moment," you know? It would be great. So there you go. There's a little tangent right in the middle of the podcast. Made my week.
Deeply
like
personal heckle, you know, like he's never done this before. Like, it's like, damn, like calling him out.
It's the best. I love talking shit in weird ways at these games and stuff. Like, I'll go defend the most muscular guy on the other team and be like, "I got this guy because I'm also super buff." Us buff guys got to guard each other, or, you know, or whatever. And
I got the insecure guy.
yeah. Or then like somebody will be like, "No, I got this guy." It's like, "Come on, man. I thought me and that guy were like flirting. I want to keep guarding him." You know, I'll say stuff like that. It's
Hilarious.
It's fun. It is fun. Anytime I make a layup with my right hand, I point, because I'm left-handed, I point to it as I run down the court. Like a normal skill everybody should have is to score layups with either hand, and I'll just point to it like, "Oh, did you see that?" Love it. So good. Anyway, should we talk more about Flesh and Blood?
We're going to be wearing a hoodie with Attack Action Podcast in North California, and somebody's going to go up to me and go, "Do you know Taylor?" And I go, "Yeah." And then they're just going to start stabbing me.
Tell him Chuck says hi.
Yeah. Fuck, dude, I can't believe this guy's name is Chuck.
North California.
Well, the way he was shooting free throws, he was chucking them, bro. It became a lifestyle for him.
Speaking of basketball, Blake, are you so stoked Houston is in the finals right now?
Yeah, I grew up watching them play. You know, it was 10 hours away from me, but we would always drive every day to go watch Phi Slamma Jamma.
Well, then were you upset when TCU lost in the women's bracket, or were you excited that Texas won
I'm a Longhorns
that
guy.
okay.
The Longhorns got absolutely smoked in the Final Four for the women. Like it was kind of embarrassing. And then the people that smoked them got smoked right after. So biggest loser of the Final Four. A lot of BBQ chicken in the women's basketball Final Four. Not a single close game, right? I think they were all blowouts by 15 or 20. I was like, this is not how you grow the game. Imagine if the Pro Tour of Flesh and Blood was 40-10 or 40-0. I don't want to play that game.
That's why you'll never be champ, Blake, like me and Zane. We're willing to take that risk.
I have been beating Vincent. There's a reason I didn't say Vincent. Oh, my sleeper pick is Vincent. If you're bringing Vincent to the Pro Tour, I think you're actively dumb. And that's from somebody who doesn't even test a whole bunch. But why are you hampering yourself so badly? Of like, play a deck that doesn't have to like... let me take 5 turns to set up, and then you're absolutely screwed. It's like any deck can do that. Why are you playing the hardest?
Name 3
one?
right now.
Oh,
takes 5 turns that set up, and then
Reinar can take 5 turns and set up and kill you.
Boom, 1.
Vincent still counts.
No, you can't pick Vincent.
Oh shit. What's his name? Chain. He would do that.
No.
Oh crap!
You're out of time, sir. The man from Houston is out of time.
Not even
Odessa. Sorry.
I don't even want to claim Odessa, but Houston is definitely not my speed. They would eat me alive there.
But they smoke you first.
Derogatory. Yeah.
All right. I have questions about other events happening in London. Any big things that you guys are trying to do? Anything else you're excited about seeing or eating or anything like that while you're out there?
Well, I have a gluten allergy, so I got pretty stressed out about going to another country. And then I was like, right, I can read all the ingredients and stuff, and I speak the language, so I'll probably be fine. But let's do a quick Google. Apparently, London is very gluten-free friendly. There are a number of gluten-free bakeries and restaurants, one kind of close to where I'm going to be, and I think I will go. I think it's Nice. Spelled like Nice, like France, but is... or niche or whatever. I don't know. I'm sorry. Shout out to that restaurant. I would like to go there. Apparently there's a lot of Venezuelan street food that is just super delicious and also gluten-free. So I will be feasting upon that.
Wow.
As well.
Is Venezuela next to UK?
quick flight.
That's where we're exporting all of ours.
Gosh, damn it.
Zane, how about you?
I actually don't have much planned for London at this point. We're staying at like a old kind of like, very just like old timey feeling hotel in like an old like local area, like not a touristy area. And so my goal is just to like...
What area? Where are you staying?
I don't remember the name.
We're in Hackney. That's where we are. East London.
I'm on the east side as well, actually. Let me see.
Okay. Let's go.
I'm in... what is it? Clerkenwell? Clerkenwell?
You just made that up.
Is it Clerkenwell or is it just one Clerkenwell?
Or actually Farringdon. Farringdon may be more accurate. Anyways, it's slightly east. It's like, I'm just excited to go to pubs, walk around.
Oh, dude, totally.
Pubs,
right?
Go
to pubs. See old stuff.
Honestly, though, actually, like, I don't super care to see. Like, I guess I'll go to a museum, like probably one museum, but like, I don't care to do much of the like bigger touristy stuff. I just kind of want to chill and drink a beer at the local pub.
Same.
Well, if you do go to a museum, the Tate Modern is probably one of the best modern art museums in the world.
The Tate, the Tate.
Yeah, it's right on the Thames. It's in this old like industrial building.
Yeah.
Brutalist architecture. It's huge, so just go pick a floor that looks good and then do that because you're not going to do the whole thing.
25-minute walk.
Nice.
I'm there.
Yeah, it's tight. That's one of my favorites in like the whole world. So I highly recommend that.
You said pick a floor because it's so big. Is that what you said?
Basically, yeah. If you try to just start and go up, you're going to be tired after like one floor. You could probably spend an entire day there. It's pretty crazy.
Dang.
Hey,
Okay, cool.
there's an Isle of Dogs. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, dude, that's where dogs come from.
Wow. Kind of want to go there now.
Did you guys
Or
see that movie?
it's where they go when they die. It's either
I did. Whoa, I don't want to go there if it's the death one. I did see that movie. It was a great movie. Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Wes Anderson.
I saw it in like this small hipster movie theater, which felt very on brand.
Hell yeah.
Nice. And then my other recommendation is to go eat Indian food somewhere because they got a lot of really good Indian food.
I will be doing that surely.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
my Airbnb host is like what you imagine. I think when Airbnb first started, they were like, "Hey, I got Rex. You want to talk? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, "Okay, what do you like? Oh yeah, go to this place, this place, this place. Like, I love showing people around, telling you the stuff, blah blah blah. Like hosting. I'm like, this is great. This is exactly what I want. Is somebody to say stuff.
You should be like, hey man, when Justin Nick comes in, what happens, and see if he's got you on some of these interactions or whatever, or what he's gonna bring to the Pro Tour.
That's fair. When I meet Harry, I will, if I do, I'll ask him.
His name's Harry. That's awesome.
I think so.
That's so British.
Is that like the main name in Britain?
It's like
that
John.
or William or John.
My middle name
it's
is
like
William.
Lord Clydesdale or something. It's like a big
Blake, your middle name is William Blake William Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
You're
fits
not William
perfectly.
Blakemeyer?
No,
That
there's
sounds better. Dang. Call you
because
Bill.
there's both of my grandpas are named Bill. That's why I'm.
Well, we'll
that's
call
what I'm
you
going.
Billy Boy.
Yeah, great. Yep. Let's do it. Guillaume, if you're French. Guillermo, if you're Spanish.
Del Toro. Oh.
Will you guys be watching Pro Tour coverage? Is that kind of a good time? No, is it? No, it's not. It's going to be early in the
6
morning.
hours ahead, right?
8 hours ahead.
It's be 3 a.m. if you start at 9.
But like that'll be good for like the finals and the end of the day.
Yeah. What
Like, it'll be on
what
during the
time does it
morning.
start there for you?
9 a.m. I think.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
like
that's-
1 a.m. So probably
that's
like the stream
early.
would be like 2.
It depends on the commentators, to be honest. It really does. I'm fingers crossed on that.
There's a button on the YouTubes that mutes it.
But if I mute it, then somebody could text me. My ADHD brain goes look at my phone. Then I forget to watch. And then I think it is. Flesh and Blood is not fun to watch for the whole 55 minutes unless you have a banger of a game. So it is the kind of like the times where you're like, I don't have time to do it now, is like, that was an instant classic. 55 minutes of every single decision mattered. And too bad you know the outcome when you go watch it back. But then there's some times where you're watching the 55-minute game and like 40 minutes in, somebody makes a huge blunder and just loses. And you're like, oh, like, I wish this is the one I didn't watch, but it's like, it's
That doesn't
even
bother me.
playing the game that's what happens sometimes.
That doesn't bother me so much. What bothers me is seeing the same hero or matchup as
Over and over.
really, really often, But
Which they've
then
gotten better at doing. Like they've gotten better at like moving away from that in the past.
there's also, I think there's a fine line, because then once we get to the like 7-3 bracket where it's like, are these guys going to win in bubble, and then they like don't, like there is no story there. You know what I mean? And so that's like part of what in these big events, when there's so many rounds, that's what I really look for, is what's the story? Like, I don't mind seeing the same person on the stream more than once if it's a good story that's happening. You know what I mean? Like, I think most.
And who gets to judge what a good story is?
Yeah, totally. I mean, but that's also like up to the production team to figure that out, right? Good luck. It took us a while to figure out like where that Shoma was doing like super good on Azuri and that sort of thing, or that Pablo Pintor like went 0-2 and then top 8. Like we didn't really check in with him until top 8, and we hadn't figured out that storyline or whatever, so that's what I would like to see as the level up in the production, is to get those stories going live as it's happening, not kind of like after the fact, that makes sense.
And I'm sure we'll see the world champion play in round 1 and whoever his opponent is, like that's what they usually do, is like the defending champ. Then here's another Pro Tour. Like, I think that is equal parts like, okay, cool, of like, that's the history of the game. But if you are a person, I don't know, like, what would you want to focus on? Are you, the names are more important, or let's get some cool hero interactions of, this is the IRA list that everyone slept on, that this Runaways team guarantees is crazy, and they're up against their worst matchup, the Florian from France or something. Like, is that cooler, or is it better just the names only of 2 former Pro Tour winners are playing in round 3, even though they're both 1-1, we're going to show you it because there's the history of the game and they've proven themselves a year ago and 2 years ago. That's more important than proving yourself in that day. I think that's an interesting thing of what's the taste level of the broadcast, who's making those decisions, and eventually you hope it pays off and hope for the best, but sometimes there's some great rounds. Like, I think the last time we did Brazil, where it was like, there's these 4 games that you really want to pay attention to out of 14.
Yeah. I've been talking a lot, so somebody else talk. Maybe Zayne. We haven't heard from you.
I mean, I think that's like part of what Sam was hired to do, right? And like, this will be his first Pro Tour on the job, that whatever his current job title is, I forget the exact, but like, it's partially about just like making sure the stream is engaging and like showcasing the game well, and like, he's knowledgeable about the game, so I trust that he'll make good choices for like what goes on stream, or if it's up to him ultimately, right? I don't know. But yeah, I think they should show rogue stuff like as much as they can, like off meta decks and things that were unexpected, but they can only do so much, right? We're gonna see Aurora, we're gonna see Enigma.
I mean, there's nothing interesting about Zen that you can convince me at this point of. He has been around a full year, and there's not a damage level that's going to be bigger than a damage level we've seen in the past. There's not going to be a new wacky combo of you've never seen this before, or
this time Chase the Tail really does it.
And they did have that crazy game where it was the 20 damage. I pitched 3 cheese, but it's like, okay.
I mean, maybe there's some weird fatigue Zen that comes out. Like that's like up for them to like, they have access to deck lists. That's up to them to like determine if someone's doing something worthy of covering. But yeah, I hope we see some weird stuff. I hope we see Ira up there. I really wanted to like make Ira work. It's a strong deck. It's just has some issues still too.
Just going back to the names versus decks kind of idea, I think that is the crucial crumb there, Blake, is like who tunes in to the Flesh and Blood tournament, like, because I am not a fan of players, you know what I mean? So because they feel more like my peers. Like if Zayne's on stream, I'm psyched because Zayne is my boy, But if like Michael Fung is on stream, I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's a cool dude, but I'm not I like him as a person, but I'm not like, if he had a jersey, with the number 69 on it, I'm not going to like go and buy that from the shop. You know what I mean? like in terms of fan that way. So I don't know what the average Flesh and Blood player is into. It's probably a mix of both, right? Is like you want to see the name. Some people want to see names, and some people want to see matchups. But that's a great question, and I wonder how you figure out that demographic, if that makes sense.
I mean, personal anecdote time. I don't know if people are going to relate to this. Sound off in the comments right after, please. But like, the thought process was, I've been waiting for a Dory Dawnblade to be successful for a while. There was a thought of this Provoke card is going to be pretty good, and maybe some other cards from Hunted would maybe push Dawnblade to be better. And then it just wasn't. And then, oh my gosh, in Brazil, there was 2 people playing at a high level with Dory. Somebody makes top 8. You could say whatever you want to say of like, oh, is it, who cares about, is Brazil the best players or not? Maybe they don't know how to play against Dory. No, it was, you look at his games, he was playing extremely well and drawing really well and beating people, even like, I think he beat a Verdance where it's like, holy crap, that's your bad matchup, so you can beat your bad matchup. I don't remember that person's name. I'm going to maybe follow them in the future, but I was super excited a Dory made it, and I like built my Dory deck and whatever. But if that person never gets on stream again, I'm not going to go whatever. But if there's another Dory player, I'm going to turn into the next Dory game. And even if it is I think that did happen already once where I was like, I'm a big fan of Shoma. And then he was playing Ira instead of Uzuri. And I was like, oh, I could not care less about this Ira deck. And I that was a very quick thing. And then I think Eugene is the background like Reinar player. And it's like, do I care about Eugene? I've never met him. I've never talked to him. I don't. But like Reinar is my homeboy, where it's like if anybody's doing well with Reinar at the highest level, I'm gonna be like, they're amazing. But is it like we need to pay money so this Brazilian Dory player can get to Pro Tour? It's like, no, I'm just hoping any Dory is good or any Reinar is good, not the specific players. Because even the people that are going from my time, I'm like, I hope somebody beats Evan. I don't want Evan to be a Pro Tour winner. That sounds awful. He's going to have 50 grand and like flex on us all the time and be like, what's that? I can't hear you over my Pro Tour money check. And like, I never, ever get to be confident again in my local meta. That sounds awful. Like, are you actively rooting against people in your hometowns? Sound off in the comments.
I can relate to wanting the heroes you like to do well. I feel that 100% all the time. I'm always like, when they do the meta report, I'm like, is there a huntsman? Because whoever that is my guy, so.
Right.
And speaking of all that, I want to make sure I say this before it becomes too late in the podcast. But if you see me or Zane out and about and you're a fan of the podcast, do not hesitate to say hi. We can hug, that's fine, or high five, whatever you want to do, but like come up and say hi. I would love to meet you, love to tell you good job and ask you questions.
Coach you up, bro.
Coach you up, dude. Be like, don't worry, you got this next sink below. So just make sure you come say hi.
Do it.
Do it. We're
Please,
just people.
do it.
I put on my socks, then my pants, just like everybody else.
That's crazy.
And then
One
my
sock.
underwear.
One sock, then your pants, then the other sock.
Okay. So, Zane is a murderer for sure. That's only murderers do that.
Right sock, underwear, left sock, pants. Then I take my socks off.
Yeah, why do you need this secluded cabin in the middle of nowhere, Zane? Are you doing destination murder tourism with your wife?
Jesus Christ.
Never know.
Answer the question. No, Zane, I hope you have a great time.
Wow, thanks, Blake. I'm glad you're having a great time with Dory.
It is super fun the 2 or 3 times where I've played against a Vincent and we will be all the way through their deck and I have 38 health left and you're like, so how'd you feel about this? Like, what was going on in your mind? Like, I should have played my Coles a little better. I'm like, oh, do Coles do 38 damage? Are you sure, bro? It's like the most dickish thing I could possibly say. But you're trying to be earnest because you're like, I'm learning this as we go. But it feels like that's the best matchup I have stumbled on in my life in this game is Count Your Blessings Dory of swing a big ass Dawn Blade at Vincent. And then you literally go, pitch the blues, block with the reds. Pitch with the blues, block with the reds. Pitch the blues, block with the reds. And then do your CYBs. And you're like, okay, I have 70 health, and this didn't work out for you, but pretty cool. Sorry, Brian De La Torre.
Pitch the blues, block with the reds. You're ready to be a Guardian player.
Oh yeah.
Oh, too bad.
Let's go. Bravo
that doesn't come out
dude.
for another 6 months, right?
Less than that. Speaking of playing Flesh and Blood, I will say it has been so fun having in quotation practice or testing days. I just find that so I don't know, rewarding's not the right word, but it is just really fun. It's engaging to be like, okay, I'm playing this game to learn as much as I can, and I'm talking with my opponent on how to play this better or just my thoughts, etc. And the intention is for us to get better at the game, and that doesn't happen at armories every week, and so that has been just a nice change to my Flesh and Blood diet, and I've been just really loving that. I actually wish I had a whole other week, just because I've been enjoying it, not because I want extra time. I mean, of course I want extra time, but it's just been really fun to continue to play so much Flesh and Blood. So yeah, I'm not even playing that much more, but I'm intentionally playing my Flesh and Blood, and that has been just great. And if you've never done that, if you just show up to your armories and play and have never been okay, we're going to work on this specific matchup. Here are the cards I'm bringing in that I think are going to work. What do you think? Okay, cool, great. And then, showing when you have a difficult decision, here's my hand. What's the line? Here are all the lines and stuff. And that is just so fun. I really, really like that. Zayne, do you feel, can you relate, I guess?
Yeah. I think the thing that I'm always impressed by or surprised by is how many different people take different lines. I remember this back in the chain era, going way back, you watch someone play chain, you see their hand, you're oh, do this, and then they do something different, and then it's also very effective, and they're just setting up a different state or going for a different line and just approaching it differently. I think there's a lot of style to how you play, and some decks more so than others. I think that's partially why someone like Zen gets grief from us, is that Zen is very there's an optimal way to play Zen. And there is hard decisions for Zen. I don't mean to just always come back to Zen, but when you're testing an assassin deck or even Enigma, right? Enigma is pretty intricate in how you approach it, and hearing oh, I would do this, and then your friend who's sitting there going oh no, actually I would do it this way. There's just so many ways to approach it, and I think that's part of why we keep coming back and playing these games over and over, is there is so many ways to approach it and so much to learn. And I don't even think that there is correct and incorrect. It's just finding what works in different matchups and how you like to do it.
Colin. What about you?
Can you relate?
No.
Is that a steel drum in the background also?
Yes.
Do you know what I think of when I see that?
Chet Hanks.
The episode of The Office where he's sad after he came back from his vacation with Jan, and he has one, and he just keeps playing the same 3 notes over and over, but he's sad in his office.
Colin, would you play some for us live on the podcast right now?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe at the end to send us out. How's that sound?
I don't know.
Okay,
Just
you'll
got it
practice
tuned.
while you're in London.
I haven't been playing it that much yet. It's been a minute. I don't know. I don't know what the legality of what I might play is on YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna get a warning. To answer your first question, I just want to hang out with a bunch of you guys and play a bunch of games for an extended period of time. That's how I want to play. I don't think I have time to learn a lot and get really good at this game anymore. I think I've been too casual for too long, where this game seems crazy to me sometimes. I'm like, I don't even understand where things are at. And you guys spend like 5 or 10 minutes talking about one thing that you're like, oh yeah, if you haven't seen someone do this, you don't know. I was like, that's me. I'm the guy who's getting knowledge gapped on every single hero. So I really don't know. I would be down to play. I miss just playing more, but I also didn't do well with the training because I always just got like my ass kicked by Chain, and then I just felt bad. And then I tried playing Chain and I lost and felt bad too. So those were
totally that feeling sucks for sure.
Yeah, but
that's one thing that sucks so bad is I played Aurora in Portland and got owned by a Dory, and now I'm playing Dory and I'm still losing to every Aurora, and I'm like, how am I bad on both sides of this matchup? Yes, there was an Armory deck that was released in between, but then all these Aurora have like all these D reacts, and you're like, how you're an offensive deck? Why are you blocking? Stop doing that. And you're like, they have everyone right now has at least 10 armor block too. Like that, I think is the only thing I'm not super happy about. The idea of we're never going to get rid of some of these equipment pieces is when we make new sets and there's going to be a new ranger piece. It's like if there's a ranger arm that blocks 2 and then also has a line of text on it, you're like, good lord, like now it's even hard to get Dawnblade counters on rangers, and you're like, that's not fun.
I mean, that's one of the things that makes Aurora so good, right? Is because it says Runeblade, and Runeblade has some
of my equipment.
Yeah, some fucking juiced ass equipment. Like they have Face Purgatory, which is crazy, and they have Grasp, which is nuts, and then they have like all these different chest pieces and all these different legs, and they just have like. They just have good cards. They have a big card pool.
I would argue they don't have good cards. They have good equipment and they have good hero text. That's like my hottest take in Fav is that Runeblade cards actually aren't that good.
It's a hot take.
Hey,
the lightning cards, I guess, are really good.
She barely plays lightning or Runeblade cards.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, because her hero power says, please play only lightning.
Yeah. No, that's my argument. My argument is that like the Runeblade cards are actually not that powerful.
In her or in general?
In general, like in the entire game.
Stop. Revel and Runeblood has literally eaten my fucking ass so many times in a game where I'm like, I mean, we're parody. 15 rune chants come in all at once because I played a double Revel turn. Oh, I set up for it. What did you set up for? And you're like,
well, I mean, Revel creates 4 rune chants, like, and it's like under strong context. Like, it's a 2 block that requires you to do something. Like, the best Runeblade card is literally probably Swarming Gloomveil, like a 3, like a head jab with Go Again, like a conditional Go Again. Like that's probably the best Runeblade card.
I think historically I would be on Zayne's camp here, and I think Zayne's right. now that I'm here, like thinking about it, you're like, well, I guess like Shrill used to be very good, right? That used to be a very good card.
Yeah.
And Florian's not playing it. Aurora's not playing it. you know, like
I think I figured out.
Dirge is probably a very good card, you know, but
Yeah.
in CC we just don't have a lot of space for that to be played and that sort of thing. So it's an interesting take.
I think I've figured out what I'm gonna say to agree with your point, but take it one step further.
Okay.
I think Runeblade are the heroes that specific cards in their class was basically made for the certain heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they are so strong in the heroes that they're for and almost pointless in the heroes that they aren't in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much diversity in Runeblade and so much love in that, where Mordred Tide, I don't think you can say that's a bad card because of what these people can do with it. But
literally
Mordred
nobody
is
else plays
so
it.
bad in everything else. And as a warrior, brute, whatever player, there's cards that just don't work because they haven't made a hero that specifically cares about blue 5s until KO shows up, and there's like, okay, that opens up the other third of the card pool. But I'm excited for that 4th brute that ever comes out that wants these cards and now can intimidate from their hero power in a different way because of this or something. Like, the diversity of Runeblades make their less powerful cards more niche powerful.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Like, Runeblade, the class, has always been strong, and it's often because of the hero texts and their synergies and not the Runeblade cards in there making, doing their thing. Whereas, like, I would go the other way, like Ranger cards are crazy. Like, like all the arrows are crazy. Like Codex is crazy. Rain Razors is crazy. But then like their hero text and their armor is pretty vanilla. Like not vanilla, but like not that strong. Like Azalea's hero text is like medium. Lexi's was literally just flip a card over. Like it had some more, but like it was basically just like lets you support the powerful Ranger cards that you want to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is cool. There's two different ways to do it.
Yeah, it is cool. There's a lot of variety in design,
And Wizard is all hero power.
Wizard has the 2 best cards in the game, but yeah.
What's the 2 best ones?
Wildfire and Blazing.
Which only get used in Kano's hero power.
Yeah. But I think like those are just like the 2 most powerful effects that the game has to offer.
Which, thank God, they need it.
Really? You don't think like fused Oakenold is more powerful? No, you don't. Okay.
I guess not blocked an Oakenold in like 3 months. I'm just taking 9 straight to the face and rolling the dice and putting the cards on the bottom and going, thank you.
Okay, fair enough.
Thanks for ruining my fucking turn. I'll try again next week.
That is a good thought, though. It's like, what are the most powerful cards? And hard to take them out of the hero context, but I guess you can't, though, right? Like,
yeah, you can't.
Some people would say scabskin leathers. That'll make no sense.
Maybe we'll do an episode of the best cards ever at some point.
That sounds great.
After High Seas, when they put a bunch of more Ranger gas, let's go. I was so bummed to miss the High Seas discussion. There was just a severe lack of Ranger excitement.
Well, go for it right now. Like, what happens whenever you go, I'll put a buff, and then they go, okay, I'm going to activate Chum, and your 12 damage arrow goes into Chum, and you're like, God damn it.
Okay, then I lit 6 value on fire. That's Ranger's very used to that. Like, that happens. Like, we played against Prism. We played against Dromai. It is what it is. Like,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by Marlin and the fact that it's 2 classes. I'm really hoping we see flexibility on weapons. I hope we get more than just bows for Ranger. I mean, even if it's just pirate, it's still
unlikely. We got
It'll be a
400
cannon, right?
daggers. We got 400 daggers. You're getting 400 bows.
Pirate sword. She can play that.
Nope. It's going to be a bow.
What if it's like a pirate sword that creates gold on hit or something?
It's going to be a pirate bow.
That's almost as busted as Hunter's Clay.
Dang, Taylor, you really only want Rangers to have bows, but they have cannons written on their stuff.
So she has no evasion, right? So let's talk like specifically, right? Like Azalea has evasion in her dominate, right? That's how she can not get fatigued, even though she's still fatigable. Mm-hmm. Then Lexi has evasion with the ice effects, right? Like the taxing and then by the end it was just too much damage, or she would get fatigued by Briar, which we saw.
And Riptide has
kind of has inevitability with his recursion and things like murky water to just outvalue your deck over the time. So like he can fatigue you instead of the other way around. But Marlin has no evasion right now. Like obviously we've seen very little. So my hope is that she gets a physical damage weapon on top of a bow, so she could play the bow in some matchups, play the sword in other matchups, or however it breaks out. But
what I would love again is to lean into the idea of assembling the Nitro Mechanoid. Is what if one of these heroes, hopefully it's Marlin, assembles a ship that then has cannons? Wouldn't that be sick?
No, I don't need that.
What
No
you
way. That would be
said,
so
though?
cool to have like a 3x3 ship of cards out there that shoots cannons, and you're just playing a different game. Go ahead, Blake. Sorry, unhinged. I'm unhinged right now.
No, that sounds fun. I just think it would be. They had make yourself into the Terminator in this game, and he still has 20 LL points. So all the cool stuff seems like it wouldn't be as. Just play 0 for force 5 turns in a row, and inevitably your opponent will brick and you'll kill him. One thought process that popped in my head: cannons. Maybe that's the alternative of instead of having a bow, you can have a cannon, a pirate cannon, and then like all of your arrows have to say the word harpoon on them. Of like harpoons can be fired from cannons or bows or something, and then you can mix it up.
Interesting.
Because you want to use a powerful cannon, you can only have harpoons in your deck.
Harpoons shot by this get plus whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But harpoons aren't shot from cannons. Cannonballs are shot from cannons.
Okay, well, I wasn't a pirate for 5 years like you were growing up, so I don't know.
I went to pirate college, so
Legally distinct.
Were you surprised that pirate was a class, Zayne? Why is it a class? What do you think was going through their heads?
I don't know. I think it's a strange choice.
Great.
Like I don't know how
we were right. Great. Yeah.
We were right. It is strange.
Like, they said like Emperor was like very unusual that he was warrior wizard, right? And that makes sense, and he's very unique and not legal in the important formats. But then now they're just like printing a set where all 3 of them are dual class. I don't know. I think it's weird. Because there's probably a reason, but it's weird.
I think this maybe is fun to talk about. So like classes have like stuff that matters in their card pool that'll go throughout all 3 of these. So it's like, what could matter for all 3 of these? The only thing that makes sense currently is we're going to be pirates tap something and create gold. So all of their pirate cards, pirate majestics, pirate D-reacts, pirate blocks, pirate equipment, pirate weapons are going to do something that we're either going to tap or we're going to make gold or we're going to use gold. And I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't want to print those as generics that would give heavy hitter classes like, oh, Kasai can just make 17 gold in the first 3 turns and then make 17 cell swords and just kill you with cell swords immediately. Like we had to not have these be generic, not have these be a talent, and it makes sense to make another class because, and that's where my logic goes. Well, I don't know that layer of it, but also talents are more like talents are more restrictions on like pitching and stuff. I'm trying to sound intelligent right now, but like it feels like classes are like stuff like Phantasm and this stuff matters in this class, but when it's talents, it's like there are buffs and like restrictions of mana. So I'm not expecting any restrictions of like red, yellow, or blues for pirate stuff because that's the necromancer level of, but then that's another class, so that goes away immediately. So it is kind of like what is the different philosophy of talent versus class? And this is what I would ask or want someone to ask in a we can talk to James White and Brian Gottlieb for 35 minutes of what is the difference between making new classes and making new talents and what goes into the design of it that I think would be a very interesting. Oh, okay. We could almost have a better chance of picking out what pirate cards would look like because we know what they care about with new classes.
Done.
Wait.
I will do that at the Q&A, at the whatever. I will raise my hand. They'll call on me. I'll say, hi, Taylor Morrow from
Friend of the
Attack
show.
Action podcast. Attack Action podcast. Why pirate as a class versus a talent? Why is there a distinction? What in your mind is different from classes and talents, specifically in this scenario?
Context, yeah.
Okay, so on that thought, you triggered my thinking of like yellow, right? So Chum is yellow, the Harpoon is yellow, and then the Majestic for Puffin, the Sky Warden, is yellow. And then the Harpoon is yellow, and it says this card is yellow but can't be pitched. So maybe there is something with like pirates and yellow being gold related or something. That doesn't support the case for why it should be a class. It's just it kind of is actually more agreeing with you that this feels like a talent. But who knows? Maybe there's like some fun Blitz only pirate hero, and that's the reason. I don't know.
That would be cool.
And I think everyone that's ever touched a lore book or seen a lore book or looked at the JPEGs online of the lore book has always been like, the next classes are going to be Necromancer, Cleric, and like there's one other, or the Potion Master one. What is it called? Alchemist. And this is the first time where it's like, Pirate wasn't in the lore book. What the hell are they doing? Of course it was going to be a talent. And they're like, no, it's a class. And you're like, so now if somebody was like, the alien class would be like, no, it's the lore book. And they're like, well, Pirate was not in the lore book, so aliens could be next. And you're like, God, I hope not. But October set is aliens from the great beyond. And you're like, oh no.
I mean, Marlin could use a ballista that fires harpoons.
Almost fell backwards out of my chair. That was such a good idea, dude.
Thanks, brother. I was born for this.
Do we have any Gravy Bones name, like what he sounds like yet?
In the trailer, he has a voice.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
didn't
does.
watch the trailer. I was too nervous.
Well, it's good.
And then some of us will be going to the depths of the sea.
I mean,
So
it's
there
what
you
you
go.
think. It's what you think it will be, but it's good.
So Liam Neeson did it.
Yeah, I'm just doing voices tonight.
Yeah.
Keanu Waves is the next pirate.
Dude,
Gag me with a spoon.
I'd fuck with a Keanu-based hero for sure. I'm back.
He's back. He's back. All right,
So-
go ahead.
Final thought.
Love it.
Pro Tour. Then we get Max,
Max,
And then-
yeah.
and then we get High Seas.
Do you mean
so
Max
boom-
the hype Nitro?
Max the Hype Nitro Armory
Wait.
deck.
Didn't they take out one of those words?
He's not hype.
They would never. The hype.
Oh, my bad.
So that's what we have over the next 6 weeks. What are you most looking forward to? What could be cooler? The meta changes from somebody LLing at Pro Tour, the meta changes because Max deck is actually way more powerful than we think, or there's one busted hero in high seas.
I hope that all the heroes in high seas are strong, and Zen LLs in PQ season. No, Zen can win the battle hardened or something. I don't know, like LL in some tournament I don't care about.
What is the battle hardened format? It's just CC into CC.
No, I think it's Living Legend, so it wouldn't even apply.
Yeah.
I do want the Pro Tour points to go to somebody juicy instead of putting Zen at like 1,057 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if it goes to Enigma, she's getting close too.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Like, I mean, it's unless it's Zen, it's pretty unlikely whatever happens, from this weekend. Most likely, it's the same meta moving into PQs, right? Like, I don't know if the Max deck moves the needle at all to go from a nothing hero, no offense to Max, to then like a relevant hero. You know what I mean?
But did everyone see the spoilers? That's another leak. That's like 2 leaks back to back. You're like, what the hell's going on here? Of somebody released the video of watch us play the Armory deck, and everyone went and found the cards, but it's like that still hasn't been up there a week and a half later. But there were some people that were like, I don't know about this build a wrench thing. It doesn't seem as strong as what we had in the past.
Yeah.
Don't know. I can't speak on that. I'm not a Max Nitro player.
You don't believe in the hype?
Sorry, I cut you off, Zayne.
No, I mean, I'm agreeing with you. I think Max is going to get a power bump. Will that move the needle on his relevance? I don't know. Whenever Mac does anything, it's like, is this better than 6 life, right? Because that's basically what Dash Inventor Extraordinaire says, where it's like, I could start the game with Tekla Pounder. So you start the game at 34. Is whatever the other hero doing better than that? Often the answer is no. That's why she's done so well for a long time. So if it's better than that, then great, but it's going to be really strong. So I kind of hope it's still underpowered, but I hope the high seas stuff is juiced.
Colin, how do you feel? Where do you want the game to go after this London banger?
Colin, are you going to play Gravy Bones?
I don't know. It seems unlikely. If it's a whole new class, I'm going to have to get every single card for it. And, it's probably going to be expensive because it seems like something that most people have been excited about. And then if it's that thing where like everyone's playing it, then I hate it. So
you want to play Chum Mirrors, dude?
Mostly, yeah. But I don't know. I'll probably buy the Armory deck, and then I'll put it next to my Jarl Armory deck, and then we'll see if I open it up.
I mean, if nothing else, it'll look good on the shelf.
Yeah.
His art's great. His like art design is quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
All of it looks sick. Necromancer looks fun. I'm definitely interested. We'll just see. Yeah, as far as what I hope, I don't really care. I hope it's fun, and I hope people like playing. and we don't just have like another ninja that's really good, or just another boring deck that just spams, basically generic cards and has a little trick to win games. I don't know. It's just not fun to watch those, and that's I think the last couple casts I haven't watched a lot just because it's felt very samey for a long time, and not like I'm like very invested or interested in like the heroes that are doing well.
Colin, when you turn on a stream, what hero do you want to see? Or like what game, if someone like was like linked it and was like, this game was great, like what character or hero do you want to see?
I don't have like a huge preference, but just not Zen, not like
nice.
Fi I haven't watched Aurora, but I'm pretty sure that probably feels pretty similar. Of just like, okay, this is that. But I haven't watched enough lately, to be honest. I think it is a thing where I don't know if the game's going to be worth it to watch going into it. And so I kind of like when people are like, hey, you should watch round 4. It was really good. Then I like go back and watch round 4. Because I'd rather just watch a good game despite what hero it is than spend, multiple hours just like hoping that something interesting happens. And that I like the matchups, but that's just more of like a time, lack of time to do some of that. Although I have to fly somewhere for work on Sunday, so I might see if I can like download some of the day 1, day 2 stuff and just watch it on a plane, and then alone in my hotel room, I can stream the Pro Tour.
Watch Zayne win.
Yeah, watch Zayne
my feature draft at 5-0.
Yeah, watch Zayne and Taylor fight it off in the finals, and we'll be the greatest podcast that ever lived.
That'd be great. And then maybe we could start making some money off of this thing, and I won't have to get a job.
The Assassin Boys.
We make dozens of dollars a month, bro. What are you talking about?
Totally. Go to Patreon. Taylor needs money. Thank you for your support.
Literally.
But also we need some more. Come on.
Yeah. Hype House doesn't happen without you.
That's legitimately true.
It's legit.
Yeah, that's what I'm most excited for is like a high seas hype house.
High seas hype house.
Ooh, let's do it.
With high C juice boxes the whole time?
Yeah.
Done. We're there. Late June. Let's do it.
All right.
Winner of the draft gets to be the Gravy Bones.
Yeah, we'll buy a pirate hat. Whoever.
Buy a pirate hat.
Oh, shit. I have a
Wins
taco
each.
hat that we can paint black and brown and put a skull bone on it.
Perfect.
Skullbone? Skullbone cross wrap?
Hey.
Azalea mentioned.
He says
Thanks,
Skullbone. I get to play Azalea.
Blake convinced me right at the
on
end.
that high seas note, we are going to be done with this podcast now. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'll see you in London by the time this drops. Hopefully, we've said hi already and exchanged numbers because we're best friends. So thanks for doing that. Appreciate you, my new best friend. And
Taylor, good luck.
Hey, thank you.
Zayne, good luck.
There you go.
Thank you.
And love you guys. Love everybody who listens. And
Levi, good luck.
Levi, he's playing in the calling. Still, good luck.
Good luck, though.
Good
Evan,
luck.
you're just kidding. Right at the end. Okay, sorry. Bye.
Okay, bye.
We'll have the music swell right over Blake saying that. Or I'll cut it completely so it's very prominent.
Or just beep it out. Evan, I hope beep.